Hi, I'm Adrian from the band Nidog. Today I'll talk about truly unlocking your Boss Katana regardless if you have a combo or a head unit. Ever since I started playing guitar, I've played large Marshall stacks with countless cables and pedals. They sure look sick on stage, but they can often be a hassle to transport or to maintain. If you want a portable, budget-friendly Swiss Army knife amplifier, do highly consider getting yourself a Boss Katana. In this video I'll mainly be discussing tips and tricks in order to make a metal guitar tone on the Boss Katana. The main thing that most katana owners overlook is the Boss Tone Studio. The katana is quite powerful out of the box, but the Tone Studio is where you can actually shape your tone however you'd like it. Quick disclaimer, you'll have to have the most recent firmware for your katana in order to use the Tone Studio. I'll leave a link in the description of this video on how to properly update your firmware. So here I'm inside of the Boss Tone Studio for my katana head unit, and I'm recording through the simulated output on the katana into my Focusrite interface. And here I'm just gonna quickly show you how I would approach making a basic metal tone. So I would always choose the brown amp type, nuke the mids, because I don't really like mids in a guitar tone. But where the meat is in this is the booster selections. So here I have the boost turned all the way to 100, and here in the effects menu there is basically just an overview of your main effect, and these can be assigned to any boost you would like. So these are controllable physically on your katana unit. I found that the DST Plus worked very well for what I was going for, a very compressed, raw, chuggy death metal tone. And right now I just have the gain set to 50 because I don't want to overdo it, because I already have the boost maxed. And I rock the tone, I just take it down, because if you have it on 0 you can get more of the characteristic of whichever boost pedal you're trying to emulate. There's a bunch of choices. I like the DST Plus, and I really want a sterile tone, so I just take away the tone. And this is what it currently sounds like. Quite alright, quite decent. Very lame though, very boxy sounding. I think there's definitely a use for that if that's your jam. And the katana, they come with a cab resonance, so this changes the characteristic and the sound of your katana, basically. So let's just quickly show that, how that affects it. Now I have the modern, this is stock modern on 50. And this is the vintage. And this is the deep. All are a little bit different from each other, but they do make a difference in the character of the amplifier. I just used the modern or the vintage cab resonance personally. Put presence to taste. But now we can move over to the EQ section. We have two that we can mess around with. These have different positions, as you can see, amp in and out on both, and parametric or GE10 style of EQ equalization. So to really shape the sound, I'm going amp out. This is what is being outputted to whichever speaker you're connected to, or through the simulated output, which I'm running currently. And since I don't really like mids, I will just nuke -12 dB 1 kHz, and it will turn out like this. Now we're getting into the territory which I find very good. I would probably like to add a bit more treble. I want more spikiness in my tone. Now we're getting into brutal territory. Another useful tone shaping option for the Boss Katana inside of the Tone Studio is to use the contour, as you see here. Put it at 1 and just put these back to default settings. So this is contour 1 type 1 on 0 frequency shift. Quickly run through the contours. So the contour is a very, very useful tool in order to shape your tone. What truly makes the katana into a Swiss Army knife of an amplifier for guitar players is the amount of options we have to shape our guitar tones. If you're recording through line out or the simulated output, you can go to the System tab. Here you'll find emulated microphones, and the distance and position react accordingly with the tone. Here you have a selection of different microphone, ribbon, condenser, and dynamic mics. Another thing is this global EQ section here in the System tab. Here you have 3 different profiles that you can mess around with. This affects the amp globally, as you can tell, depending on which profile you have selected. Within the regular Tone Studio dashboard, you can select each of these profiles using this button here.